Hey everyone, Zach here. I just wanted to let you all know that there are some slight audio problems when we recorded that we did not notice until later. A lot of the problems were removed, but there is still some clipping in the episode whenever we get loud. My apologies, but I hope that you can still enjoy the episode. Goodbye.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are here to talk about some board games.
And certainly not football or the weather or what happened over Thanksgiving.
Maybe a little bit of the last one.
Okay.
The other two are both depressing and sad, and I hate them, so...
Just like the holidays.
Yep.
Hooray!
Hooray!
So how were you guys' holidays? How was Thanksgiving?
Zach took me to and from the airport.
I did.
Oh, exciting, Zach. I'm glad you got to have such a lovely time on Thanksgiving.
For the price of beer.
Yep.
I see you're already turning into Ant. You just pay for everything with beer.
Of course.
I mean, as long as it's acceptable currency, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And then my family doesn't play board games, so I didn't play board games while I was back home in the Chicagoland area. And I played a lot of Super Mario Odyssey and sort of kicked the shit out of that game while I was there. I have over 600 moons in that thing now. I technically reached the soft ending. Well, there's end credits, beat the game. Then there's get 600 moons and unlock the dark side and the darker side of the moon. And then then it unlocks the now traditional ultra hard long level at the very end of the game that has no checkpoints.
Okay.
And I beat that, and then you get a multi-moon that's a long journey's end, but then you can get up to 999 moons, and then there's another little I don't know, after credit scene basically.
Are you gonna do that?
I don't know. That's a lot of work.
You might be able to just YouTube.
Yeah, just go ahead and YouTube that. Yeah, but then I won't have a hat on the Mushroom Kingdom castle. Peach's castle.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, a giant hat.
That's what you really need, is a giant Mushroom Kingdom hat.
Well, there's nothing but hats in that fucking game.
It's true. It's very true.
Just really everything is filled with hats. It's basically Team Fortress 2.
I was going to say, it sounds eerily familiar.
Yeah.
With amiibos that basically let you cheat.
Oh, those amiibos are such bullshit. There's a Mario, a Bowser, and a Peach amiibo. The Peach amiibo just puts you back at full health and gives you 3 extra health. So you go from 3 to 6. The Mario one just gives you a fucking superstar, and you're totally invincible for 30 to 45 seconds. And then the Bowser one is actually useful. It tells you where the purple coins are. It's like a little finder thing. But all of those things aren't really accessible in game, except the Peach super heart.
But those are sort of limited, whereas you can just keep using the amiibo over and over again.
You just hold right on the left D-pad and put the amiibo on, and you just get it.
So anytime you take damage, you can be and I'm back to full health.
Yep.
Well,
at will.
Why? Why does this exist? This sounds
because I paid $12.99 for each of those amiibos. That's why.
So he deserves to
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a single player game, so whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So
you just don't use them.
Yeah. So it just takes the fun out of it. So why use them? Why did you feel compelled to give them money?
No, he just buys all amiibos. So.
This was back when Smash Brothers came out for the Wii U that these existed. So it just so happens that they're actually using them in other games now. So yeah, all the Zelda ones give you a chest every day, and so they're kind of limited. But these just fucking bloop 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 whenever you want.
I see.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Zach,
how was your Thanksgiving?
It was fine.
Did a Friendsgiving, I saw.
I did on Friday, yeah. Actual Thanksgiving, I just sat around playing Assassin's Creed all day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's still going pretty awesomely?
Yeah. I reached my highest level, and I'm still able to be accidentally surrounded by hippos or crocodiles and then eaten. So even at max level, you can still get fucked up if you're not paying attention.
Still be eaten.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, alligators, crocodiles, hippos are
Oh yeah,
super lethal to people.
no, when I'm on land, I just run at them with an axe and I destroy them. But then every once in a while, I'm swimming or I jump off a boat and all of a sudden they come up and I'm like, oh shit, this is I'm in their territory.
Yeah, I'm out of my element.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, that's been going well. I got weapons that make people sleep. It's pretty great. I hit
Sleep?
them. Yeah, and then they just go to sleep.
Is that the part where you cut their head off and they just go to sleep?
Yeah, I can make them go to sleep, and then I can just assassinate them.
Mr. Fishy,
Yeah.
no.
That's what I chant. You're telling me if I go to sleep, I'll die.
One of the best bad mans ever.
Yes. But yeah, it was Friendsgiving was good. As always, whenever we have a bunch of people, it devolves into a YouTube party
Again.
Jesus.
forever
Why does that happen?
because we're youths.
Yes.
You're millennials. That's
That is
why.
us.
Yeah.
We are youths.
Yeah.
Utes?
Youths. Youths. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Youths.
But yeah, otherwise it was good. So
Right on.
and I also working for Lyft around Thanksgiving sucks, surprisingly.
Shocker.
Yeah, I would have thought more people wanted to go to the airport. I guess they already did.
Yeah, they already did that.
Yeah, they already did that when I was looking.
It's when you were taking me to the airport.
Exactly.
When everyone else was-
Everybody else went at the same time.
Yes.
Like
Did you happen to drive after game night on Wednesday?
maybe for a little bit.
Because that would have been the night to do it. Because the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is like one of the biggest drinking nights of the year in America.
Yes.
It's impressive. Everybody's like, oh God, I have to spend all day with my family tomorrow. I better get fucking wasted tonight.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people have gotten to their destination and are hanging out with friends at like their old local bar.
Yeah, that's the positive spin on it.
That's what I'm used to,
Right.
drinking on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Because I'm back
Gotcha.
in Chicago and then I'm like, everyone wants to go drink.
Because drinking's fun, kids. I went out to my grandparents' house. They live a couple hours outside of town. And I went out there with Megan. We left on like Tuesday and we're out there until Friday. My family from St. Louis is in town for like a week. So just kind of hung out there, ate a whole bunch of really good, bad for me food. Played a bunch of board games and antagonized my aunt and my cousins because that's what I do when I get around family. I antagonize them. I know that's a shocker considering I don't ever antagonize anyone else in my life.
No.
No, you just get antagonized.
Yes, that's kind of switched it around.
I channel
Yeah,
all
you-
of the antagonization that I receive.
Yep.
And I just throw it on my family.
That's kind of how life works, I think.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it was a pretty good time.
We're your parents, and then you're the bully that goes to school, and your school being your actual family.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Nice and dark. So, Zach, while you did your Friendsgiving stuff, did you get to play any board games? I know, Jeff, you said you didn't while you were back in Chicago.
My family doesn't play board games. I talk about them, but no one gives a shit. So they watched a lot of college football. Holy shit. Do they watch a lot of football? College football.
Oh,
I just don't care about college football, but
I can't care about college football.
I don't know. I learned what a turnover chain was.
What is that?
I guess Miami's college football team, like every time they get a turnover, they have like a gold chain they put on or something for the turnover.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say like a chain of turnovers.
No,
like someone gets a turnover and then through that act, like they get a turnover during that turnover or something. The other person takes it back.
No, it's a literal chain they wear around their neck.
Okay.
After they get a turnover.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sounds like something stupid Miami would do.
I guess everyone doesn't like them.
So if they go to a store and buy an apple turnover, do they then put the chain on?
God damn it, Zach.
it's not even good.
It's not.
No, they're not supposed to
They
be.
never are.
Yeah.
Anyway, college football sucks.
Yeah. Zach, did you get to play any games?
No. Just ate deep fried turkey wings.
Man,
Which
that sounds delicious.
That does sound pretty fantastic.
they're whatever the bicep part of a turkey.
Your upper arm?
Yeah, upper arm part.
Yes.
It was bigger than like a chicken drumstick, like massively a lot bigger than that. It was pretty ridiculous. And
so
then
you're saying this chicken wing was bigger than your upper arm?
not no
Okay.
bigger than a chicken drumstick
Okay,
by a lot.
gotcha.
So the turkey leg.
No, not the leg. The flat and then like the upper arm part. That's what we had. We didn't have. We had chicken wing or turkey wings, and then the upper part of the wing also.
I don't know if I've ever had turkey like wings like that before.
Yeah,
I've
I
had
don't-
chicken wings.
No, yeah. They are just the flat was like
Colossal.
yeah, at least 8 inches. It was ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
And things you can take for granted in a chicken wing, you're like, that's a bit too much in a turkey wing. But it's still good. But yeah, I didn't play any games.
Okay. Well, I played a bunch of games, so I guess I'll talk about board games so that at least somebody on this podcast talks about board games. But first,
Okay.
we'll talk about what we're drinking because Zach ever so subtly indicated.
I didn't know if
he's-
we are going to do that or not.
No, you're right. We should. Jeff, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Son of Baptist with probably Novo coffee by Epic Brewing.
Right on. I am drinking some Ska Modus Operandi, which is one of my favorite named IPAs in Colorado. I really like the name, and I like that the label on it is like skeleton ska dudes in suits.
Yes, the best part.
Yeah. What's the orange one? What is that called? Like Modus Tangerini. That's
Oh.
Yep, that's it.
I can't remember.
Fucking trademark that shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it's some kind of a modus operandi, but with like something orange related, Naranja or something
Okay.
mixed in there. But I can't remember. Zach, what are you drinking since you're drinking the most interesting beer at the table?
I'm drinking a 2016 Pumpkinator from St. Arnold Brewing. It is an Imperial Pumpkin Stout.
Okay.
It's after Thanksgiving, so pumpkin's no longer in vogue, but it's okay because it's still really good.
All right.
It's I got it as a housewarming gift and finally got around to drinking it. So it's
Okay.
pretty tasty.
Nice.
Nice.
It says on here St. Arnold, the patron saint of brewers. I don't know if that's actually legitimate or not.
It probably is. I think that's a thing.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if there's a patron saint of brewers, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I also wouldn't be surprised if that was entirely made up. Nothing surprises me in the brewing industry.
It's from
anymore.
Houston, so
There's
you know-
probably a patron saint of literally everything. So there's actually, I'm sure there's one of like the patron saint of literally.
that is
Everything.
literally what I was going to look up.
Literally everything.
Now that we've talked about what we're
Accidentally
drinking.
search Patreon.
Oh, jeez.
Patreon saint. Patron saint of Patreon. That's got to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you actually played board games?
I actually played board games.
Okay.
I played a lot of board games. I'm not going to talk about all the board games I played because, like I said, I played a bunch. I took a big bag of games. I was there with my girlfriend, Megan, who's one of my main gaming partners. My brother, Seth, who I play a fair amount of games with when I'm around family. My cousin, Emily, who I hadn't seen in years, who was one of the first people I played modern games with back when I got Settlers of Catan. And then my mom actually has recently been willing to let me teach her some board games. So I took a bunch of games expecting to play a bunch, and I got to. The two I want to highlight, I played four games of Terraforming Mars, first mention. I played a 4-player game with Megan, my mom, and my brother. And then I later played a 3-player game with Megan and my mom, and then a 3-player game with Megan and my brother, and then I played a 2-player game with Megan and I. And yeah, Terraforming Mars continues to be awesome. And
That's a lot of Terraforming Mars.
that is a lot of Terraforming Mars. And the awesome thing about it is like both my mom and my brother were like, they got it really quickly, which I was a little worried that it was going to be a little too complex for them because they're not either one really regular or avid board gamers. But they caught on really quickly. And then when we finished, they were immediately like, yeah, I want to play that some more this weekend. And so we did. We played it a bunch.
Did you go with any of the beginner corporations? Like
Nope.
just get 10 cards?
I gave them the option. I
Okay.
gave them the beginner corp and then 2 advanced corps, and then we kind of explained everything. The first game we played with all 4 of us, we didn't do drafting. because it was their first games and we decided not to do drafting, and we did give them a handicap. Megan and I did our starting corpse with, 0 resources beyond what the corp gave you. We gave both of them 1 in every production, which was a pretty solid starting advantage.
Having that and an actual corp too that's pretty big.
And then we did play with all 3 of the games. We played with the variant that's going to be included in Venus, where at the end of every generation, whoever was the first player raises one of the 3 parameters. They either raise temperature, oxygen, or place of water, but you don't get any bonuses for it.
Well, that's in there because Venus adds another thing. So,
but I've seen a couple people say they've started mixing that in just to speed the game along.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah,
and it even still adds a strategic element because then, like,
you can fuck people over.
You can fuck people over. Like in one of the games we played, my brother had a blue card that he got out really early that gave him 2 plants every time somebody placed an ocean. So me and Megan just started placing oceans only on the on that little extra placement phase. It's also nice because, like, if you're sitting on a card that's like, oh, I need 4 oxygen and nobody's raising oxygen, you can just, in a couple generations, bump oxygen. Or if you're going to be last player, maybe you bump heat into the bonus spot so that nobody gets to claim the bonus spot the next turn. I like that little variant. I'm probably going to play with that most times I play. Giving them the bonus, they both were first and second in that first game, but then they both came in third in the other games we played when we took away that advantage.
The significant advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, they still really liked it, playing by the full real rules. And drafting, my mom didn't super like drafting. She was having a little bit of a hard time with that, like, especially since she really didn't know the cards. And she's never really played anything with drafting, so that was an entirely new concept to her. My little brother Seth, he caught on to it actually really quickly though, and did just fine with it. So, it was a good time. Megan, I tracked my plays. I set my highest Terraforming Mars score that I've ever gotten, and Megan still beat me by like 25 points.
Wow. What was the highest one that you gotten?
86.
How many people was it? 4?
3.
Okay.
And then she didn't, not 26. She beat me like 16 because she was like 102.
Okay.
And like I thought I was gonna win. Like we counted everything, and I was way out in front, and I was like, "Sweet, I've got this." And she was like, "Oh, I got like 5 points for my cards." And I was like, "Oh, sweet, you didn't pass me." And she goes, "And then I have these 3 Jovian tags, or these 3 like 1 point per Jovian tag." And she's like, "And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Jovian
Holy
tags."
Shit.
She's like, "That's an additional 24 points." And it was like, whoop, right past me. I was like, "No!"
Wow. That's a lot of Jovian tags.
That was a drafting fail on me and my brother's part.
Yeah, that's why you need me and Paul in there to just hate draft everything.
My brother caught on well to drafting. He did not catch on to hate drafting. So that's an advanced
pretty
layer
crucial
of drafting.
in a lot of stuff. But like, you are not going to get this.
So Terraforming Mars went over great. Spirit Island we played. Went over great with Megan and terribly with anyone else we played it with. I tried playing a game with Megan, my brother Seth, my cousin Emily, and I, and it was painful.
Why do you think it was?
So it was the first game that Megan and I had played where we didn't play with Paul, who is the one who really knows the game and taught it to us. So there was some like setup stuff that was taking me a little while, like trying to remember how to do setup and referencing the rule book. And then we were trying to explain the game to them, and it kind of kept devolving into like my cousin who's on the one side of the table talking to Megan about how to play her character, and me trying to teach Seth, and people just not being on the same page. And then like Seth got his cards and everything, we got ready to play, and he's like, okay, so now what do I do? Like, how do I decide which of these cards to play? Like, they all seem good. Well, how do I decide? And it was like, just decide. I don't know how to explain that side of it to you. He had a similar issue when we played Imperial Settlers. Like, he got his starting hand. He's like, okay, now what? It's like, I don't know how to explain that.
Put things down that have production.
Yeah, like, so we played a couple rounds, and then we were getting handily wrecked by the cards, and we were well on our way to losing. And it was really clear that those two weren't having any fun, and Megan and I weren't having much fun. And so we were like, do you guys just want to call it and put this away? And they were like, yes, we do. And so we put that away, unfortunately. But Megan loved it. And since that game, Megan and I have played it like 4 more times, including she busted out the first time I've ever seen her play a solo game. She busted it out today while I was working on some other stuff.
Wow.
And so yeah, Spirit Island has been a big hit for the two of us. I do really like the game.
What a nerd loser playing board games by themselves.
I know, right? I think it's really best at 2 or 3 players. I think 4 players it starts to kind of bog down a little bit. But
I think BGG agrees with you on those opinions as well.
Yeah. But I really like it. I like the way the god powers work. I like the variability in the starting map tiles. I like how they included different scenarios and opponents that you can put in to kind of change it up and mix it up. And then you can even flip the tiles over and play on the thematic maps, which are even harder. And yeah, it's really good. I like it a whole lot. Great game.
Still need to play it.
As do I.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it in for a review soon and talk about more of it.
Indeed.
So, other than that, I played a whole bunch of other games. Like I said, not going to go into a whole lot of them, but it was a good time. I like going and spending Thanksgiving with my families and eating a bunch of food and playing a bunch of games. And occasionally riding horses and shooting guns. But I didn't ride horses this time. I just shot guns.
For a second there, I thought you were shooting guns while riding horses at the same time.
Well, obviously.
No.
Like, fucking, are you like cowboy training?
Yeah.
What?
No, yeah.
No.
Just shooting up in the air and just hoping for the best.
just dual revolvers, just shooting them off in the air while riding on horseback.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
No. The horses are, well, most of the horses they have now are gun shy, except for like the 2 that my grandpa uses for hunting, because they actually like do hunting trips in the mountains where they take the horses and then like horseback ride way deep back into the woods into like a little hidden area that they know of where there's really good hunting. And that's where my family gets its venison.
Okay.
It's really tasty. I like venison a whole lot. But yeah, no. Megan went horseback riding along with a bunch of other people, but there were so many people going horseback riding that I was like, nope, you guys can go without me, because I know the way this is going to work out, I'm going to end up on the really ornery, shitty horse that misbehaves, and I'm going to end up with my ass in the dirt. Yeah, so that was Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Zach, did you get to play any games at all outside of Thanksgiving?
Yes, on Wednesday, I got another chance to play Indulgence, which is that trick-taking game that has the rules that change every round.
That's the like
correct.
Pope-themed one?
Yes. We did not play with those papal bills that we played the first time. The one that makes you do all of the edicts. But we did include the more advanced ones, and I still thought it worked really well.
Okay.
I was winning handily until the last round when one of the guys, the only guy who had a chance of beating me, decided to sin, and he had to take all of the even blues and greens. And basically what it came down to was at one point there's a chance where I led a suit and then everybody else had to follow suit, and then the last guy, he could have thrown in an even blue because he didn't have my suit to just end it. And he's like, yeah, but then Zach wins. And
no one wants that.
No, yeah. I think he was hoping that I would win by my own hand.
Yeah.
And because he did not throw off then, Kyle ended up winning.
Oh.
And it was Greg, his brother, that could have thrown it to end it. And I was like, how convenient that you didn't want to let me win so that your brother could win. But yeah, he ended up winning that one, but that was, it was fine. It still was a lot of fun. And we had 3 times that entire time we had someone successfully sin. So
okay,
it was pretty nice.
All right.
We had one person, Jenna, she attempted to sin, and it was like, play the last red card or whatever, or you'll take the last red card. And then I guess she forgot that there's no trump in this one.
Oh.
Or like she just didn't plan ahead. And basically I was able to get her off of her colors and always win. And she was never able to take to take back the win in order to take that last red card.
Gotcha.
Because she had the last red card in her hand, but I just kept throwing the suits that she didn't have, and she's like, "There's nothing I can do. I just have to keep paying my cards up." And I was like, "Yeah, you should have taken this one, and then you'd have been able to control the tempo of it." So so she ended up having to pay me 8 money. So it was nice.
8 money.
8 money. Yep. And then I also played a beginner game of Mythic Battles Pantheon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was at the Alamo game night.
Yes, it
Alamo
was.
Draft House.
Our friend of the show, Ant,
Also friend.
also friends,
Also my coworker.
also
But
just,
friend before coworker.
Yes. Yeah. Just friend for me.
Yeah.
There's no business relationship.
No.
But so this one it can be a 1v1 or it can be team based, and we decided to start off with just skirmishes. And so there are 4 of us. Each of us took one of the gods. I ended up being Hades, and so this one it's basically it's a dice chucker sort of thing.
Greek, Roman.
Yeah, it's Greek.
Greek.
Yeah. And so like I had Hades, I had Cerberus. I was like, oh, these work well together thematically.
Yeah.
And then I also had Achilles. I had Brad Pitt on my side.
Okay. I mean, why not?
Yeah. And it turned out to work really well because he kicked ass.
As Brad Pitt does.
Yes. But each of the figures have their own little special powers. And you have this like sliding scale of vitality that relates to how strong you are, how much your defense is, how much you can move, and how whatever your range is, and then also like special abilities that you can do.
Okay.
That as you start taking damage, you get weaker and weaker.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's a card based game where so I had Hades, I had 4 activation cards. Yeah, the deck was comprised of like Achilles cards, Hades cards, Cerberus cards, and then these Art of War cards. And these Art of War cards are basically little you use them for maneuvers. It's like drawing extra cards or activating a second unit on your turn. But basically, you play one of your activation cards. So say I activate Hades, and then I can do 1 or 2 simple actions or do 1 complex action. Simple is usually just walk, move, attack, or pick up something. Complex is if you're a god absorbing a crystal thing, or you're running, which is whatever your movement is plus 1.
Okay.
And so when you attack somebody, so because it's all about killing gods
Mm-hmm.
in this one. So whenever you get in range, either range 0 if you're doing melee or whatever it is otherwise, you basically say you're going to attack, and then this is dice-based combat, but the dice go from 0 to 5. And so it has sort of exploding dice in a way, because like Achilles, his defense was 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you get
the 9 on a 5?
Yes. So what happens is you roll the dice, and any blanks dice you have, you just remove them from it. So those are all complete whiffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then so say you get lucky, the rest of them are 5. So say you roll 4 5s. Then you take 4 more. So that's basically your first assault.
Okay.
And the second assault is basically you're building off of those dice. So you roll 4 more dice. So anything that was a 5, you roll the dice, and so say you get 2 4s and then 2 2s or 2 3s. The 2 4s they get added onto the 5s, so they become 9s. So that's 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 3s get added onto the other 5s, and then 8s, which normally misses, but you can discard a die to increase another die by 1. So you could actually make that 3 hits.
Okay.
And you can do that in the first assault as well. So say if you roll a 4, you can discard a die to pump it up to a 5, and then you're going to be able to keep rolling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so basically you just keep fighting until you kill the other people.
Oh.
Or kill the guardian.
All
I
right.
guess. Yeah. But so Achilles, he was my favorite one that I had. Out of all of the characters I saw, because he was melee and he only moved 1, so he was slow, but his defense was super high, and also it was called Endurance, so he ignores the first wound he would take in any attack.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that super high defense, most of the time only like 1 wound was actually getting through, so I just got to ignore a bunch of them.
Okay.
But then also his attack ability is whenever his first assault, he gets to flip over any blank dice into 1s.
Okay.
So he never whiffed on those. You just got to use those to manipulate other dice.
Yeah.
Meaning that he also hit like a truck as well.
That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I also had Hades, who anytime any figure was died, I got to draw a card and regain 1 vitality.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Swallow your soul.
I was
Yes.
trying to look here while you were explaining this because, like, I remember seeing pictures of this posted on some chat somewhere when you guys were playing.
Yeah.
And can you throw pillars at each other?
Heracles was able to just throw a pillar at my Cerberus.
Okay.
So that's what happened. Because there's 3D terrain, like forests help against range attacks, pillars help against melee attacks and stuff like that because it's supposed to be ruins. But he can just pick up those things and throw them at people. And a lot of the special abilities cost Art of War cards to use, and you only have a certain amount, so you have to sort of ration, which we didn't really figure out until we used almost all of them in the beginning. Near the beginning, so then it was just like, for the most of the time, it was just doing 1 activation a turn and not being able to use the special powers.
Oh, that sucks.
But me and my teammate, we both chose melee characters, and Ant and Wes, who were our opponents, they chose ranged ones. So they're like, we're just gonna sit back and wait for you to come at us. And I was like, two rounds later, I was like, all right, I'm here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And Achilles wrecked face on Athena and killed her.
Oh, wow.
And so then we were just like, all right, it's been an hour because we were also trying to learn, and we opened up the thing completely there. And none of us knew how to play before. So after it had been like 2 hours, like an hour for learning and unpunching and all that stuff, we were like, okay, I think we're good for now. But
yeah.
it was okay. I liked.
And the game's supposed to be like scenarios,
yes,
and stuff, not
yes.
just run at each other.
Exactly,
and fight.
yes. So I'm sure that's where it's at its best. At this, just the skirmish level, it was okay. I liked how the dice worked. I like that you can manipulate them unless you just got really shitty rolls.
Yeah,
unless you're Achilles, in which case everything's at least a 1.
Hooray!
But yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right.
Mini's really nice.
Yeah.
And big.
Chunky.
Yeah. Although I'm really waiting for Ant's Kickstarter exclusive stuff because I want to see that Titan.
Yeah.
110 millimeters.
Because for some reason it came in separate shipments.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have the Kickstarter stuff yet.
Like fucking that big.
Jeff, what about you? Once you got back from Chicago, did you have a chance to play any board games?
Yes. So we did the Sunday Alamo thing, which is where Zach played the Mythic Battles Pantheon.
Yes, we did.
Paul brought even more pitch car. If you've seen pictures of us post pitch car before, it has gotten even crazier. Normally we've thrown in jumps. It's like a little flicky dexterity disc game on a racetrack.
Racing, yeah.
So this time we made a 2-level race course that had a track that was suspended over and had ramps up and around and all that fun stuff. I guess one of the expansions is literally just styrofoam blocks to put all of these things on.
More or less, yeah. I mean, with the little ramp thing, it's just the ramp and then styrofoam blocks.
Yeah, just so you can suspend the track in the air. So we've made a lot of house rules to this game. The one that we did not use that I was glad was the one where you had to take your shot from whatever angle the rear of your car or whatever was. And I was like, I'm glad that wasn't in this version.
Yeah.
What other house rules do we play with besides that one?
The one about like falling down off the track onto the lower track. You have to get like reset.
Oh, yeah. So that one normally, like in the Demolition Derby one, it's like whenever you fall off the track, you just go to where you fell off. That we still play with that one, but when you're on the second level, if you somehow landed and stayed on a lower level track, you had to go back to the start of the ramp.
Yeah.
And that includes if somebody knocks you off, which only happened once, which is when I knocked Paul off onto the lower track. It was pretty great. But it only happened twice the entire time we played, both times.
So where was the starting line? Was it on the top or the bottom?
No, it was on the bottom. It was basically a bottom. We had he got one of the expansions that was just a really long straightaway, or 2 technically, but we used one of them, and then we had some curves, and then we went up the
ramp to the second level.
Yep. And then we just had a basic turn, and then another turn, and then we went down, and then we went underneath that the second level, but because of how the table was, the constraints of the table, part of the pillar was on the track, and we were like, well, you just have to avoid it.
Yeah.
And at least it seemed like every time Julie just landed right next to the styrofoam pillar.
Yep.
Always just hit it
Like-
dead on, and it's like, well, now you have to knock out in order to actually go past it.
Okay, so most of the time, if you got knocked off the top onto bottom track, it was actually further along the course, and that's why you made it reset to the top.
Yes.
Well, no. Like instead of just having them reset to where the person knocked you off from, because usually that's what it is. If somebody else knocks you off of the track, you have to go where they started.
That's right.
Yeah. We decided thematically it'd be funny if you landed back on the track. Well, you just have to go drive back out. Like otherwise, you just crashed and burned, and you sort of got respawned. You land on the track, so you have to start. You had
Let's go back around.
to go back around. Originally, we were like, yeah, you have to just
go.
from where you landed.
And they're like,
And we're
that's going to be
no.
forever.
Yeah. So, but we like the idea of having a restart. And also, it wasn't like there was only 2 parts where it actually mattered, and those were near the beginning of the second story, so I didn't change that much.
Okay.
And then we changed, then we lengthened the course and added some jumps.
Yep.
Some sweet jumps.
We had a jump that went from one table to another table,
Uh-huh.
so there was a legitimate gap in between,
Yes.
in which Ant's first shot went into the gap and then went under a table, the table that it was suspended on.
And we, instead of digging it out from the weirdness of the bottom of this table, we just gave him another piece
Yeah.
to shoot with.
Nice. Cool.
I think I started in 5th, got 4th, and then went from 4th to
Third?
3rd, maybe? No, I think I went 4th to 4th. I think I just
You started in 4th, you went to 5th at the end of the first one.
and then went 5th to 4th.
Yeah, 5th to 4th. And I went from 3rd to 4th, and then from 4th to 2nd.
It's a lot like Formula One. We did 2 laps each. We have pictures on Twitter if you want to see what the hell we're
Mhm.
actually talking about. It's a fun little Dex game.
Yeah, when you have a lot of expansions, it was like 10 feet long or something. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's 8 feet long, let's say that.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have any Bloody Minute stuff for us?
I do. Have not played the physical Blood Bowl, but I have played the Blood Bowl 2, which we just started our Karak Core Invitational League on. Ant and I played our first game the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. It was Lizardmen and Norse. Norse is Ant's most played team and highest ranked team. I think last I remember, he's like ranked 2nd nationally as Norse in the NAF, which is insane.
Yeah.
And then his number 2 tournament team is Lizardmen, which I had never played a base team of before. I played in a tournament with them, but you get skills and extra stuff like that. So his number 1 team was playing against his number 2 team. Yeah, it went well for him. The Norse, everyone has block. Lizardmen have like a good move and armor on their Saurus, but their skinks are super weak but fast, or agile. But everyone on his team has block. None of mine do. So if he ever got a block, like both down, I was just on the fucking ground over and over. Like one of his, I think his 3rd hit of the first half was casualty out one of my Saurus, and I was already down. I think he casualtied out 2 more skinks, killed a skink, which sucks. But my next block after that, the next turn after, I killed one of his linemen. And since this is all the first game, no one has apothecaries. Those they're fucking dead. So we had two deaths in our first game. I was trying real hard to make it competitive, but I have not really played Lizardmen very much, and playing against someone that knows lots of shit was pretty brutal. Tried to pull off some decent plays, but got kind of bad rolls here and there. I think he got some pretty nasty rolls too, but was able to buy back my dead skink. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to buy Apothecary after that first game. We'll see what happens after week 1 wraps up this week. And then I'll be playing David in our season 5 this Wednesday at Board Game Night. We'll see how let's see how the Nurgle team has come out since last season. He is the current Jeffy holder, so but he's got a lot of claw on his team, which is not good for orcs. So we'll see.
Right on.
Yeah.
We'll eagerly await the update of that game.
You'll probably be there. You'll know what it happens.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Everyone else will have to wait.
Yeah.
All of you people can witness with your own 2 eyes.
Although I regularly like see you playing Blood Bowl and then never hear about how the game went until you do the Bloody Minute.
Oh,
So
okay. Gotcha.
It's all news to me.
All right.
Speaking of news,
And Kickstarters. But first news. There's not a lot of news besides, I don't know, it was the holidays or something.
That can't be it.
That
It's
can't
got to
be.
be another reason.
Yeah. First up in news, a cool game preview of Decrypto, or Tricky Clues for the Clueless.
yeah, so this is kind of a weird, like, similar to Codename style game where I'm not entirely sure. Like, it looks like you play a set number of rounds and you're trying to, like, beat the other team. I'm not sure how it plays.
I still, even reading all this stuff, I don't know. How.
Yeah, which it says at the very start. Sometimes a game is more challenging to explain than it is to play. Is the first sentence in this BGG post here. What I can tell is that the main part of the game is so you're in teams, and each team can see a set of words associated with a number. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of those numbers has a word. And then one of the team members draws a card that will give them a 3-digit code, like 214. And then they can in turn give a series of one-word clues to their team that will tell them what order, like what words to guess to get the right numbers. So the way that they explain it here is that if the team's words were pig, candy, tent, and sun, 1 through 4, and they drew 4, 2, 1, they could say Sam, striped, pink. Sam being related to sun, so that means that the 4 is first. Striped relates to candy, which means that the 2 is first, and then pink relates to pig, which means the 1 is first. And if you get it correct, awesome, good job. And if you fail, you get a mark of failure. And then, like, it keeps playing that way. You keep rounds continue until a team collects either its second winning mark or its second black mark, either winning or losing accordingly. And yeah.
But that's in the first round. The second round involves, like, you have to give another clue or something like that, but then the other team has a chance to guess it at first or something like that.
So it says here, games typically last between 4 to 7 rounds. If neither team has won or lost after 8 rounds, then each team must attempt to guess the other team's words. Whichever team guesses more words correctly wins.
Well, I know, but it said starting in the second round,
Huh?
a member of each team must again give a clue about their words to match a numbered code. The other team then attempts to guess our numbered code.
Oh.
Yeah. So there, you're trying to decrypt the other team's code somehow.
Yeah.
This is why just having somebody explain it via text doesn't, and also they're not using actual game components. It's
There is an actual like game component one, like
at the very far end.
yeah, it has the cool like red tinted plastic that you put the code thing into, so you can actually make the word appear through it.
Right.
And also, all the cards look like 6.5-inch floppies. Is that what those were?
Oh,
The giant floppy disks.
yeah. 5 1/4.
5, yeah, something like that. It's not 3.5.
No,
I
it's
know
not.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sounds like it might be kind of an interesting game. And yeah, easier to apparently play than it is to explain.
Yeah, I think watching, like, yeah. I'm not sure about how you're supposed to be going around to decoding the other person's stuff. So,
yeah.
Did you say 5 1/4?
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
One other little bit of news that's in the kind of unfortunate if you were looking forward to this game kind of news. Apparently Coaster Park is only getting about a 4.3 on BGG, like low 4s. It's not doing so great. Apparently it's not a very good game, and it's not very good marble roller coasters.
Yeah, I heard the whole, the dexterity part of actually physically having the marble roll around, it just apparently doesn't work really well.
Yeah.
So if you have a game built around that, it sort of sucks when
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
So hopefully Dinosaur Park's real good.
Hopefully.
You don't have to roll any marbles.
That's true.
I guarantee it.
We should mention the ridiculousness of Cards Against Humanity's Black Friday.
Yes.
And-
It's usually always ridiculous because like when they're just like, we're going to sell it for $5 more. Because,
No reason.
Yeah.
Or we're just going to not sell it.
Yeah.
Or we're just going to sell poop. Or we're going to dig a hole.
Or whatever other weird thing they
Yes.
decide to go for.
This year,
This year's weird thing.
was Prongles. They're like, yeah, we're getting out of the board game business. We think the chip business has clearly more money in it. So
They are correct.
they released like for $2.99 it's basically Pringles, but it's Prongles. It's
Once you pop, they're great.
Yeah.
once you pop, that's great.
That's great.
That's
yeah,
great.
Original Prongles. It's a sweet pig skateboarding man.
What was his name?
Hog. H-O-G.
Something hog though.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
With delicious flavors like salt and potato.
Which
And-
uses 100% white salt.
Yes, 100% white salt. And what? Cream and onion.
Onion and cream.
Onion and cream. If you couldn't find these, to just keep, I don't know, the box or whatever, we ate them. They're basically Pringles.
Yep.
They taste exactly like Pringles.
They're a little bit thicker of
They're
a chip,
just
I
a
feel like.
smidge thicker, like maybe an off-brand Aldi
Yeah.
Pringle.
And the chip integrity, not great because
No, they were
these are
super
made in,
crumbled.
in Malaysia, and even they have a website that's great.
Yeah, I would pull it up so we could read from it, but it has music that you can't mute or affect the volume of in any
Oh
meaningful
no, you
way.
can affect the volume. You can try and turn it down,
in
and it
any
just makes it
meaningful way.
and it makes it louder.
That's not a
and then
meaningful
you
way.
can't mess with it at all. And it's on repeat. But
It's a great song.
Yeah, in the FAQ it says all of my chips came to like pulverized, and they're like, we do not guarantee the chip's integrity after it has been air shipped or
From Malaysia.
So
Yep. I think it's funny that, like, looking at these Prongles cans, if you came across these in the store and you didn't know what was up, there's essentially zero reference to anything related to Cards Against Humanity on the can.
Yeah.
Well, they're not Cards Against Humanity anymore. All they do is make Prongles.
But
now.
if you look closely, you can see on the jet ski on the onions and cream, and on the skateboard on the salt and potato, you can see a CAH
CAH.
yeah.
still there.
They actually have a voting poll right now on the website.
I don't think that's real.
I know it's not, but way to destroy the illusion until
Okay. I thought you believed it was real.
no
Okay.
Well, considering that the three flavors you could vote for
are tacos and burritos. That's just one. That's just one of the flavors.
fish,
Whole fish,
whole fish.
and then America.
I was definitely going to be America because I
But
can
whole
only...
fish was winning hand over foot, or sorry, fin over other fin,
tail?
tail fin,
Tail fin.
yeah, hand fin over foot.
Dorsal
fin.
fin over.
Nope,
Yes.
hand fin over foot fin.
Gotcha. It's your new trick taking game.
Yeah. You just play hand and foot, but like in the water, and so the cards are all floppy.
Oh God.
I just want to know what America tastes like. Is it Cool Ranch?
You know America tastes like sweaty old man.
Yeah.
It's the only thing America could possibly taste like right now.
Tanny
So
oil.
Prongles, you probably can't buy them anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how committed they are to this escapade.
I want to say very little, like most of their escapades.
pretty much right up until Black Friday, and then that's
I
it.
really
was
hope
over.
Prongles come around again. I don't think they will, though.
I don't think so either.
No.
Somebody's going to start selling them really, really overpriced on eBay.
I'm sure it's already happening.
Yep.
Probably.
Don't do it. Don't buy them.
Just go buy Pringles
Yeah.
and get yourself a color printer or something. I don't know.
Still go check out the website.
Yeah.
Pronglesexperience.com or something like that.
Originalprongles.com. I think.
Originalprongles.com.
Yes. It's on the bottom of the can.
Because the website's fantastically wretched.
The best buy date on these things is crazy long. August 2018.
Yeah.
Pringles don't last that long.
I guarantee they do.
I don't remember that from when I worked at a grocery store.
Did you look at the bottom of Pringles?
I regularly. It was all about expiration dates.
I don't know. Maybe they have slightly higher quality control expectations.
It's probable.
They're actually trying to run a legitimate chip business.
Also, I'm pretty sure they're like, we're going to be selling these for like one day and that's it. So we can just write whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Moving on
to the wide world of Kickstarters. There's actually some Kickstarters this week that look pretty awesome. First up is Living Planet. Well-funded, $63,000 of its $9,500 goal, 834 backers. This one's got about 2 weeks left to go. You can back this one for $58 for the regular and $82 for the deluxe edition.
Yeah, and so this is a 2 to 4 player strategy game where you are exploring this planet and consuming resources. It looks like it's kind of almost like a 4X. They've got different tiles you can put down, like you can build steel foundries and oil refineries and, you know, electrical storage units, things like that, on the hexes. And that's the main board is hexes, and they've got spaces. Some of them have regions where you can actually build, and they tell you what you can build there. The main thing that I think is really cool about this game, I don't know hardly anything about the gameplay. They don't go into a whole lot of detail on it, but the deluxe version of this game has some really awesome features. So the Black Finish Deluxe case looks pretty sweet, but then it contains 7 drawers. Like the side of the box opens up. It looks like
magnetic, probably.
The picture right now is clearly like a mock-up. Like it's not a physical picture yet, but it looks
mostly
like
because it's filled with art and not a drawer.
But it looks like the flap. It looks like it'll be one of the ones with a slight magnetic closure on it. And then it also includes double layer punch boards for like placing your dice and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think probably those 2 things alone seem like they would be worth the additional, I don't know, $14, $24 that it takes to jump from that standard edition to the deluxe edition.
$33. 47. Nope, sorry. 58 to 82. Yeah,
$24.
$24.
But yeah, so the gameplay itself is mostly based around exploiting and industrializing the planet and generating profit. They hint that the planet like will slowly self-destruct because it's alive and it's reacting violently towards the players exploiting it.
Hence the Living Planet.
But yeah, it uses some like card dice. So it's the different sides of a D6 printed on cards, and you play one each turn so that you move through your various die rolls in the order that you choose so that everybody has access to the same probability of cards. And yeah, a game lasts 12 rounds, and
seems like you're fighting against the planet pretty hard. Like the sci-fi theme is pretty heavy in here. Like you'll have anti-earthquake buildings you can put down and crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
Protective technology, anti-seismic. It looks cool.
Indeed.
Reminds me of Factorio a little bit. Just a little though. Love Factorio.
I like that fancy box.
Yeah.
I like the art style too. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a futuristic sci-fi art style. But yeah, that's Living Planet. So 2 weeks to go check that one out. And super well funded, so it's getting made.
Yeah. Next up in Kickstarters is D-Day Dice 2nd Edition. Extremely funded, $225,000 of its $16,000 goal, over 3,000 backers, but this one's only going to have about 4 days left. This one you can back for $47 for the regular or $80 for the version including the expansion. I was really looking forward at this one. I remember D-Day Dice coming out a while ago and being pretty well received. I was like, World War II and dice, why not? Apparently their publisher like fucking disappeared or something for the first edition, so they couldn't make any more.
Yeah.
And now they have to do a second edition with a new publisher. I thought it was weird that a publisher just fucking disappeared, but apparently it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the smaller little things like that, there's not a lot of protection for that. But,
No. But you sure do get a fuckload of components with this game. 100 cards, 32 dice, 30 tokens, 8 maps. It does come with a rule book, which is nice.
Sounds like they spared no expense.
Spared no expense. And then the War Stories adds like tons more cards, tons more dice, more battle maps. Battle maps are kind of the, I don't know, how you change the game up. They're all double-sided and stuff. Yeah. If you like that first edition, I really want to get this.
Yeah. They say the Sergeant Pledge, which includes that War Stories expansion, that it's roughly 110 British pounds value for 60 pounds. So,
yeah, like that pledge gets you so much crap. It actually looks like you get a good amount of stuff for what you're getting here. Yeah. And then there's just a trillion stretch goals already unlocked, which is, oh my God, it just keeps going. You can buy a t-shirt
and a messenger bag.
Yeah, that's what we need.
My bias gets a little bit in the way here, because I see D-Day dice, and then like one of the first paragraphs they have starts off, D-Day dice will get you right there on the beach. You'll experience the fear of getting killed by enemy fire, the anguish of losing your men, and the thrill of surmounting seemingly impossible odds to accomplish your mission. I'm just like, really? A dice game's gonna do that? Like, really? But I think that's totally my bias is showing towards not liking dice games.
Yeah.
Because the components and everything do look really cool, and it looks like there might actually be something to this game.
You can even get a neoprene campaign map that rolls up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Something that rolls up? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, that's D-Day Dice 2nd edition.
Yeah. I'm about to spend way too much money on that fucking game. All right.
All that money that you didn't get to spend on Black Friday, you can now put into D-Day Dice.
Maybe I'll get paid soon. The next Kickstarter, Mythica, Fate of Heroes, just funded 15,000 of its 11,000 goal, 160 backers, and a little bit less than 2 weeks to go. You can back this one for $60. You can pay $20 and get some cool coasters that also have the art of the game on them.
So Mythica is a 1 to 6 player game that takes 30 minutes per player. So fuck playing that at 6 players.
It's gonna be a long game.
But it's a genre-spanning adventure board game inspired by tabletop RPGs, the Mythica movie franchise, and our favorite board games.
What is that?
Are you guys at all familiar? I don't know, because I saw that earlier, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to still talk about this, is because I want to know if anybody is even remotely familiar with the Mythica movie franchise. Like,
well, there's 2, I think.
There are 5 movies.
Oh, it's just
I see only 2 on
Mythica.
Jeff's little tablet over there, but the game in all 5 movies is one of the pledge levels.
Yeah. So there's clearly 5. Mythica, A Quest for Heroes.
Yeah. So
I was like, is that Kevin Sorbo?
So I have no idea if this is a good game or not, but it's based on a 5-movie franchise starring Kevin Sorbo. This is also the second running of Fate of Heroes. They originally launched it back in August and did not succeed, and then have relaunched it and funded in 55 hours. Because, hey, if you don't succeed, just try again later.
Try some different shit. Maybe a different price. Maybe minis. Maybe standees. Maybe on the 3rd try, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea will get it right.
It only took them 2 tries.
That's true.
But yeah, I keep getting lost in the massive amounts of like explanation of what comes in the various pledges, and I can't find anything about how the game actually plays.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of stuff. There's a 36 by 24 inch campaign board, a 24 inch by 12 inch challenge board, 15 poker size hero cards, rulebook, villain cards. They keep calling all of the cards poker size. Isn't that just standard card size?
That's a card, right?
54 Rumor of Glory, Evil Abounds, 36 Hand of Fate, 32 Plot Add-on, a whole bunch of mini-size item cards, ability cards, trophy cards, challenge cards, combat cards, 50 2x2-inch location tiles. This game's going to take up so much freaking space.
Also, the $20 pledge is their quick reference guides.
So if you just want the reference guides for how to
One
play
set
the
of
game you
6
don't have.
custom Berserker Labs beverage coasters, but those beverage coasters on the other side are also like the quick reference,
Okay.
which come with the game, but you can just get them an extra set to use as actual coasters.
And then also this is another one that shipping doesn't charge until after the campaign concludes. They're estimating 10 to 15 for continental US, 10 to 18 to Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, 15 to 30 to Canada, 60 to 70 to Latin America.
Ouch.
70 to 80 to most countries in Africa.
Yep. But only 20 to 40 in Australia. So our Australian listeners get a break on the shipping
Yeah,
compared to some other places.
indeed.
60 to 70 to Israel, Liechtenstein, and Serbia. That's an interesting combination.
Yeah, there's like 1 million pledge levels for this thing.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
But they say that they're delivering in March, so
I don't
know about
believe
that.
that for a second.
March 2018, estimated delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really not much about anything about this game. There's a couple videos, like there's an interview video, a what's in the box video, a first impressions video, and an alpha gameplay test from a year ago. So, yeah, check it out. If nothing else, you can get some sweet Kevin Sorbo movies.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. He might die. He might only be in like one of them.
Oh, man.
I bet he's in all 5. He's like, you better not kill me off, you bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, something tells me.
Otherwise, he's going to get disappointed.
Yeah. So that wraps up our Kickstarters.
Kickstarters,
Kevin Sorbo rounds it out.
as he does everything that he's in,
Brings it all home.
Yep.
rounds it out.
So that brings us to some listener feedback, which we have a ton. We're going to space some of this out because a lot of it is directly related to our Lisboa giveaway that we're running, where we specifically asked for emails as part of the entries. But we have one here that I think that the title of this alone suggests that it should be read during this portion.
Indeed. The freshest, hottest of emails. Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to email us things or enter that contest thing. So this one is from Wes, friend of the show.
Also a friend.
Also a friend, not coworker of any of us. It is titled, I hope you get this before emails. We did. We did get this before emails.
We got it before we started.
Yeah.
Barely. That was only because my computer was having issues.
Yeah.
Because you're using Firefox.
This Firefox sucks.
God damn it.
Hey guys, I've been meaning to write this all week, but kept putting it off and forgetting, so hopefully it still gets in under the wire. Mostly just random thoughts and follow-ups. It got in well over the wire, to be fair. There have been a few episodes recently with emails from listeners who are working their way through the back catalog. It made me realize that you guys essentially only respond to emails on air. I had a good laugh at the idea of these poor folks sending you off an email and getting great, insightful responses that they won't hear for potentially weeks until they catch up. In response to last week's Argent discussion/review, I'd like to add some clarification to my opinion that Zach shared. When I said that the gameplay feels disconnected from the scoring, what I was trying to get at was more of what Adrian was trying to describe as well. It feels like you're often left with the choice to make a move that helps you build your engine but has a low chance of helping you win a board member, or making a move that you know will help you win a board member, though very well could in the end have been fruitless, at the expense of slowing down your engine, thus compounding the effect on later decisions. I think they have a great game there, but the scoring mechanism needs some balancing. I'm not sure how to solve that score balancing, but it might be helpful to have some more public information somehow, or that gaining the most of something isn't the only way to score for it. Some way to make it so that if you know green is going to be scored, then taking a green card will always benefit instead of only helping you towards a single point. For example, if all green cards become worth 1 point, and then there was a bonus 3 or 5 points for winning majority, that could lead to much more interesting scoring. And finally, a little nitpick on an English language pet peeve of mine. The word one, when used as a noun, especially in the plural as ones, not only is it a terribly generic word that will always benefit from the use of a more specific noun, the cards, the pieces, etc., but it is just awkward sounding to have the plural form of a word whose primary meaning is the very definition of singularity. For the love of God, Zach, at least start saying stuff or things instead of ones.
I also like how Zach is fully capitalized. Like you could hear him very emphasize the Zach.
Anyway, that's all I've got. I'll follow up later with my entry to the contest, but I don't think any gaming experience can ever be as tragic and traumatizing as having to destroy cards in legacy games. Many sad face. That's a really long sad face.
It's a very big-nosed, sad-faced person.
Yeah, lots of tears and lots of mouths.
Or multiple chins.
Yeah. Wes. And
1,000 acronyms behind
just
him
a lot of acronyms.
because hooray, architect.
Architecture. Yeah. So that's from Wes.
No, I say a lot of things on here that when I'm editing, I'm always just like, oh my God, Zach, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Wes had a pretty great tweet mentioning all his acronyms for being an architecture person. In the new Punisher, or not, it wasn't Punisher. Maybe it was Defenders. Shit, now I don't remember what show it was. Some show that I was watching also because I recognized the scene, but some lady's complaining like her husband's missing. She's like, he's always so punctual. He's an architect. He leaves for work at 8 a.m. and comes home at 4 p.m. or something.
Like on the dot every time.
And Wes is like, the writers of this show have clearly never met an architect. So I don't remember what show it was, though. I feel like it was some Marvel Netflix show, but
Gotcha.
yeah, good tweet.
Well, I think with Wes's Argent stuff, I think that's scoring. I mean, I sort of get what he's trying to go for, but I feel
that was exactly one of my big problems. Like, even when I knew what most of the scoring was, it was really hard to focus on succeeding at scoring without just not giving a crap about my engine. It was much easier to focus on, I'm just going to do whatever I have to do to keep my influence high, and then hope to win a bunch of tiebreakers that I may or may not come up against. Yeah.
Well, like I'm specifically like having points be like, instead of just being all or nothing, having point based, and I feel that would not, like, that would go against the
it certainly wouldn't fit the theme.
Yeah, it would go against that theme, I think.
Yeah, since the whole theme is that it's one vote per board member, and each board member is looking at something different.
Exactly.
Those things make sense for theme, but it feels weird that, like, the board member for the green mages is just like, who has the, like, well, I guess if you have a lot of green supporters
and you've done a lot of research in green, it makes sense. And I can understand how, if you like, I think that's just one of those
themes getting in the way of gameplay. Down with theme.
It's just, if you don't like it, you don't like. I don't think you could really. You couldn't change that without fundamentally changing.
No. And that's what I said in the review. Like, I don't think the game's broken, because I think that this was all very intentional, and it does fit the theme so well. It's just going to be something that not everybody's going to appreciate as, like, a mechanism in their game.
Yes.
So, try it before you buy it if you think you're on the fence. But otherwise, we covered all that in the review. Go back and listen to it.
Yeah, still there.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the world ended.
Sometime in which case, how would they hear this?
Yeah, sometime between when you heard this just now and then when you go like, oh, I should listen to that, then the world ended. That's
Right on. So that's it for current emails. We have some more for the contest, but we're going to save those for when we resolve the contest. And stay tuned here in just a little bit more. I'll go over all the contest entry stuff. But if anybody wanted to just send us a normal email, how would they do that, Jeff?
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Fantastic. You can also jump over to our Board Game Geek Guild, where we have BGG posts up for all of the episodes that we do. And sometimes, like now, there's responses to older episodes. So what you got, Zach?
I've got one on the top 10 or top 5 expansions. And I do want to go ahead and point out that technically, like, we only have BGG ones until, like, episode 40 or something like that. So anything before that, you want to send Jeff's way.
Or
If you're
or make a thread.
if you want
Just be
to
like,
go through that effort,
I want to go through deep cuts of episode 37 and really talk about that one.
yeah,
Make a post.
Yeah.
And just title it episode 37.
it'll save everybody a lot of time if you just make Jeff deal with that shit.
It's Zach's normal way of handling things.
Yeah.
Make Jeff deal with it.
Yeah. So MS says, I love getting expansions for games, but often I end up sticking close to the base game. Pandemic is my example of this. My wife and I are either too tired to bother with the virulent strain or are teaching it, and they've never touched the bioterrorist. Other expansions I enjoy: 5 Tribes, Thieves and Artisans, Carcassonne, Traders and Builders, despite my wife disliking this game. King of Tokyo, Power Up, Essential. Dixit, if you play with the same group, then the same cards get the same clues, and expansions are needed. I'm chasing expansions for both Seven Wonders and for Bang, the dice game. I enjoy the base games a heap, but I'd like to get them sometime. I went all in on the Rising Sun Kickstarter, and I hope I don't regret this. I definitely got suckered in on it. Enjoy. I think all of us did for Rising Sun who got it. We're like, oh, we have to get all of it because that's Simon's bread and butter. It's like, here's this base game, but look at all this extra shit you can buy.
Yeah.
Look how fancy and mini-y it is.
I'm
Look at all these miniatures.
very thankful that they finally pushed it far enough that I was able to break free. You know, it's like breaking a heroin addiction. It's like I don't have to worry about it
You
anymore.
don't have to chase that miniature dragon anymore.
No.
I don't know. I think if they made a Zombicide train game, he'd get pulled right back in. Just right back in.
There is an Age of Steam Zombies map,
but I
and I
mean-
want it so bad.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So bad. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like, there's a lot of games I have expansions for that I've never even played the expansions because, like, I look for a game I like, and then I want the expansion to add more of that. But then if I really like the game, I kind of just end up playing the game. I don't know. And it's hard. Some expansions don't lend well to a first-time teaching. Like you said, you know, you end up, oh, you're new people. All right, we'll leave the expansion out to make it easier to teach you. And then you just never get back around to bringing the expansions back out.
I can't really think of any games that I have that I don't, if I have expansion stuff in there that I don't use in some way.
I had to kind of separate out Arkham Horror's expansion monsters because they all kind of go in one bag, and I used a marker to color code the edges because once you throw in the bag, there is no differentiation in where that monster's expansion is.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will reference expansion stuff, so that was the only thing I had to constantly be like putting in and out things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've got Scoundrels of Skullport for Lords of Waterdeep that I've never used.
Well, I think part of that is especially with that one where it's you kind of keep them separate because you can't
the way
put
the boxes work.
Yeah.
But I do find that the expansions that I do play the most, or that I like have really incorporated in the game, they are just now part of the game. Like the expansions I have for the Race for the Galaxy, like I don't separate those out if I'm teaching a new player. Like they'll be like, oh, what's the symbol? It's like, oh, that's for the expansion. Don't worry. It just marks that card came from an expansion. The symbols are the same. Just learn the iconography. And oh man, this is going to hurt, but that's learning Race for the Galaxy.
Yep.
It's going to hurt.
Just whip harder.
Yeah. Yeah. If you would also like to chime in on discussions that we have or reviews that we do, jump over to our Board Game Geek guild number 2731, where Zach does the awesome weekly posts now, as of like episode 40, and most of them since.
I feel like Yokohama was like the first consistent one.
I
was
can't
like-
remember when we started finally actually getting consistent.
Well, there was
about
like
that.
1 or 2 we did, and then didn't do it for like 5 more episodes. And then I think because Yokohama was that our first one where we switched to the 2 things, 2
I think-
episodes,
Yeah, I'm seeing regularly since episode 40.
which is
Themes.
what is 41?
Stockpiles.
Oh, okay, so it was earlier than that.
Yeah, but it's been working well. Getting increased feedback and attention over there on the guild. And definitely, listeners, feel free if you've got anything that you would like to chat about on the guild, feel free to make a post. we'll reference it and chat about it on the show, and maybe even chat about it in the guild. Moving on to the giveaway that is ongoing.
Because the biggest thread currently is that giveaway that we have a lot of responses in.
Yep.
Yes.
The biggest, newest one, yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest one's still Gloomhaven, but that's
Right.
That's weird.
yeah, it's weird how
Yeah.
that
Crazy. So we are currently giving away a in-shrink copy of Lisboa with the deluxe add-on package. You can enter 3 different ways. You can shoot us a tweet using the hashtag MHGGThanks, where you tell us what kind of discussions and things you'd like to hear from us. You know, topics you'd like to hear us cover or things you'd like to hear our more in-depth thoughts on. You can jump over to the aforementioned BGG Guild, where there is a thread up right now for the giveaway. And in that thread, we are looking to hear a little bit about your gaming group. We want to hear, you know, mainly who you game with, where you game, how you game. You know, we want to kind of, you know, get a little bit of insight into your game groups since.
Because we have that huge one in Denver that we do every Wednesday and
Yeah.
have for almost 5 years straight.
Yeah, and we like to know how other people do their gaming. So
Not at breweries, apparently.
not many popping up with breweries.
No.
No. And then last but not least, you can send an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
And in that email, we would like to hear your board game disaster story. Since Lisboa is all about disasters, we want to hear about your biggest board gaming disaster.
There's been some good ones so far.
Yeah, we've gotten responses about drinks spilled on games, you know, gamers who almost ruined board gaming for people.
Games left on the tops of cars.
Yeah, all kinds of fantastic stories that we can't wait to share with everybody, but we're going to wait until we get all them entries in and start jumbling them all together. But let us know what your gaming disasters are. All 3 of those options earn you 1 entry into the drawing. Yeah, and we'll let this contest run until midnight on December 17th, going on to the 18th. And then we will draw on the 18th, and you will find out when you've won on the episode that will come out Wednesday, December 20th. So, got a few more weeks to enter, but don't wait too long, because then you might forget, which is what I always do when it comes to things like this. Don't be like me. Be better than me.
It's not hard.
Low bar.
low bar.
Right on. Well, that wraps up the episode. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Be sure to tune in this Friday, where we start the first in a discussion series that we're going to do about board game components. This first one on Friday is going to be specifically about player markers, player pieces, you know, the things that kind of represent you on the board, whether it's minis or standees or little wooden bits, like what the piece that represents you doing things on the board is and what's best for it and how they all work together or don't work in some cases. And yeah, should be a good discussion. So check that out. Until then, as always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm advertising executive Neil Page.
What? Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Whether Zach cut it out or not. Maybe he can cut this one out too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I just cut
We'll see.
cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Cuts. Or cut.
I did cuts.
Okay. Cuts. Is there an apostrophe?
There is now.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Now there's 2 apostrophes.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh.
And then you just got to put the entire thing in quotations.
Parentheses.
Like I can do brackets.
Anyway.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.